The siege of Gibeon. Now, when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had captured Ai and put it under a band. Hold on, excuse me. Gotta love this time of year. And had done to that city and its king as he had done to Jericho and its king, and that the inhabitants of Gibeon had made their peace with Israel, remaining among them. There was great fear abroad, because Gibeon was a great city, like one of the royal cities, greater even than Ai, and all its men were warriors. So Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Yarmuth, Yaphiah, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon, with this message: Come and help me attack Gibeon, for it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. The 5 Amorite kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Yarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon gathered with all their forces and marched against Gibeon to make war on it. Thereupon the Gibeonites sent an appeal to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal: Do not abandon your servants. Come up here quickly and save us. Help us, the country have joined together against us. Joshua's victory. So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with all of his army and all of his warriors. The Lord said to Joshua, Do not fear them, for I have delivered them into your power. Not one of them will be able to withstand you. After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua made a surprise attack upon them, and the Lord threw them into disorder before Israel. The Israelites inflicted a great slaughter on them at Gibeon and pursued them down the Beth Horon slope, attacking them as far as Azarath and Makkedah. While they fled before Israel along the descent of Beth Horon, the Lord hurled great stones from the heavens above them all the way to Azekah, killing many. More died from these hailstones than the Israelites killed with the sword. It was then, when the Lord delivered up the Amorites to the Israelites, that Joshua prayed to the Lord and said in the presence of Israel, Sun, stand still at Gibeon. Moon, in the valley of Ayalon. The sun stood still, the moon stayed, but the nation took vengeance on its foes. This is recorded in the book of Jasher. The sun halted halfway across the heavens. Not for an entire day did it press on. Never before or since was there a day like this, when the Lord obeyed the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. Then Joshua and all of Israel returned to the camp at Gilgal. Execution of Amorite kings. The 5 kings who had fled hid in the cave at Makkedah. When Joshua was told the 5 kings have been found hiding in the cave at Makkedah, he said, Roll large stones to the mouth of the cave and put guards over it. But do not remain there yourselves. Pursue your enemies and harry them in the rear. Do not allow them to reach their cities, for the Lord your God has delivered them into your power. Once Joshua and the Israelites had finally inflicted the last blow in this very great slaughter, and the survivors had escaped from them into the fortified cities, all of the army returned to Joshua and the camp at Makkedah in victory. No one uttered a sound against the Israelites. Then Joshua said, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring me those 5 kings from the cave." They did so. They brought out to him from the cave the 5 kings from the cave of Jericho. They did so. They brought out to him from the cave the 5 kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Yarmouth, Lachish, and Eglon. When they brought the 5 kings out to Joshua, he summoned all the army of Israel and said to the commanders of the soldiers who had marched with them, "Come forward and put your feet on the necks of these kings." They came forward and put their feet upon their necks. Then Joshua said to them, "Do not be afraid or dismayed. Be firm and steadfast. This is what the Lord will do to all the enemies against whom you fight." Thereupon Joshua struck and killed the kings and hanged them on 5 trees, where they remained hanging until evening. At sunset Joshua commanded that they be taken down from the trees and be thrown into the cave where they had hidden. Over the mouth of the cave large stones were placed, which remain until this very day. Conquest of southern Canaan. Makkedah too Joshua captured and put to the sword. At that time he put the city, its king, and every person in it under the ban, leaving no survivors. Thus he did to the king of Makkedah what he had done to the king of Jericho. Joshua then passed on with all Israel from Makkedah to Libnah and attacked it, and the Lord delivered it and its king into the power of Israel. He put it to the sword with every person in there, leaving no survivors. Thus he did to its king what he had done to the king of Jericho. Joshua next passed on with all of Israel from Libnah to Lachish, where they set up a camp during the attack. The Lord delivered Lachish into power of Israel, so that on the 2nd day Joshua captured it and put it to the sword and every person in it, just as he had done to Libnah. At that time Hiram, king of Gezer, came up to help Lachish, but Joshua defeated him and his people, leaving him no survivors. From Lachish Joshua passed on with all Israel to Eglon. Encamping near it, they attacked it and captured it the same day, putting it to the sword. On that day he put under the ban every person in it, just as he had done at Lachish. From Eglon Joshua went up with all of Israel to Hebron, which they attacked and captured. They put it to the sword with its king, all its cities, and every person there, leaving no survivors, just as Joshua had done to Eglon. He put it under the ban and every person in it. Then Joshua and all of Israel turned back to Debir, and attacking it, capturing it with its king and all its cities, they put them to the sword and put under the ban every person in it, leaving no survivors. Thus he did to Debir and its king what he had done to Hebron, as well as to Libnah and its king. Joshua conquered the entire land, the mountains, regions, the Negeb, the Shephelah, the mountain slopes, and all their kings. He had no survivors, but put under the ban of every living thing, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua conquered them from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza, and all the land of Goshen to Gibeon. All these kings and their lands Joshua captured all at once, for the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. Thereupon Joshua with all of Israel returned to the camp at Gilgal. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.